When we're young, we have an amazing, positive outlook about how great life is going to be, but somewhere along the line, we forget to dream and end up settling. Join Up Dots features amazing people who refuse to give up and chose to go after their dreams. This is your blueprint for greatness. So here's your host, live from the back of his garden in the UK, David Ralph.
Yes, hello there. Good morning to you. Good morning, everybody in Join Up Dots land. How are we doing? Are we feeling good? Are we feeling inspired? Are we feeling invigorated? Are we feeling like we can take on the world and do amazing creative things and just quite simply throw off the shackles of mental restraints and just love life? Just love life and go out and do things. Well, I hope you are, because that's what life is all about, really. And certainly for many, many years, I didn't have that. I just kind of went with, what I have to do, responsibility, that's how life is and all that kind of stuff. But it's not the case. It's not the case. You can do whatever you want, whenever you want, as long as you put yourself in that position. And this is what this episode is going to be about. It's all about being persistent, because getting yourself into the right position doesn't occur overnight. And we all know that. We all know that nothing occurs easily. But we still kind of think that we can just press a button and get it done. The world is full of people online selling the fast track to things. Cut corners, get there fast. Now, I'm a great believer in upskilling, and I suppose that is a way of, fast tracking, actually learning from somebody else, hiring a coach, a mentor, whatever, to be able to cut corners. Now, that's perfectly acceptable, because what you're doing, you are not taking the shortcut, you're doing the clever cut, if there's such a word. You're actually taking the experience from somebody else and actually fast tracking yourself. Right, that's good. That's good. But the actual press a button and you're going to be a global success, it just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. Now, let me talk about myself a bit, because that's what we do on Join Up Dots. Well, that's at least what I do, because I've got a microphone in front of me, and no one can take it away from me. No one can pull my wires out once I start talking, because I lock the door, I put chains up against the windows, and I press record, and it comes out, and it goes down wires into this little machine and comes out in your ears. Now, when I started Join Up Dots was going to be a global success instantly. And I just knew that. I knew that in my heart. Why would it not be? Why would it not be? Why would this show not go off like a rocket and dominate the airwaves? But why would it? Really, looking back on it, why would it? Why do people come to a show? Now, they will come to a show if it's a famous person doing it, and we all do that. And that's why so many famous people are getting on the podcasting bandwagon and creating their own shows. And a lot of them aren't very good, because they're very good at doing something, but it doesn't mean that they're very good at doing something else, which is communicating in a podcast environment. And you get a lot of these sportsmen who can whack a ball around and then create these shows. And when you listen to them, they're boring. They're boring. I'm going to tell it as it is, people. They're boring, because they're not playing to their natural skills. But they get an audience very, very quickly, because they are famous, and we're all interested in fame and celebrity. But for everybody else, you've got to grow it. You've got to grow it, you've got to nurture it, and you've got to water it. And that's certainly what I've done in Join Up Dots case. And I love going back to the early episodes, because I can hear a difference in my voice. I'm very much like, hello, everybody. This is David. It's really nice. Now, I thought I was being enthusiastic. I thought I was being good. It felt right. But it wasn't. It was enthusiastic in normal life. That is how you sound in normal life. But when you record it, it just sounds like you're in a coma. It just sounds dreadful. So I carried on doing it and listened back and learnt from my mistakes and carried on doing it. And I'm still doing that now. I still listen to my show more than any other shows. I don't really listen to podcasts. I just listen to myself, because I want to hear if I'm getting better. Because by getting better and persisting, there you go, that's the word, then you do grow something, you do build something that's remarkable in your own life. So let's think about yourselves. Okay, if you got a piece of paper out and suddenly wrote your dream, most of us would go, I don't really know. I don't really know what my dream is. And so we say, well, what would you like? I'd like never to work again. I'd like never to work again and be up to my neck in supermodels. That's what I want in life. But of course, if you was up to your neck in supermodels every single day, it'd be annoying. You just, get out of the way and get that thing out of the way. I'm not even sure if that's real or fake or what that is, but get that thing out. It's nice to look at, but please get it out of the way. It would become annoying to be up to your neck in supermodels. It'd be annoying to do everything, because what we aim for is not necessarily what we want. At the beginning, we aim for global domination. Now, I started off with global domination. And as I proceeded through, I realized that it wasn't global domination I wanted. It was actually freedom. It was to create something that no one could take away from me, first of all, was totally under my own rules, and I could do it whenever I wanted, wherever I wanted, and that was it. And so when I started, it was very much like, I want to earn $1 million a month. But as it proceeded through, I thought, no, I don't actually want to earn money if it means taking me away from that ability to do it when I want. If I was waking up every morning and looking, I've got to do that today, I've got to do that today, all I've done is created a job for myself. What I wanted, once I got into the process, was to be able to just turn on the mic whenever I wanted and just do me thing, turn it off, and then go down the pub and have a pint in the afternoon. And I get a lot of emails from people, or little Facebook messages from people I used to work for and work with, and they say, David, I'm on the train, do you fancy a beer? And I go, yeah, let's do it. And I stroll down to my local pub, and I'm there before them with the pint in the hand. So that became more important to me than the actual dream. But I've only been able to get to that point by persistence. So how do you build persistence in your own life? How do you build that from that very beginning bit of motivation when you really want to do something and you want this is going to be amazing, to the bits where you wake up and it's dark and nobody's listening to your show or nobody's reading your stuff and you're not getting any interest, or whatever you're doing? How do you build persistence? Well, there are, what people have told me, and I think this is true, there's 6 ways to identify persistence in your life and actually build upon it and make it a strength and make it a talent. And the very first one is what we were already talking about. See, I'm a professional podcaster. Identify your wants and desires. Now, there was a guy called Lawrence J. Peter, I think he said, and it was, if you don't know where you're going, you'll probably end up somewhere else. So you've really got get a bit of paper. You've really got to identify your wants or your desires, and you do this by simply writing down specifically all the things you want to have or accomplish, and you list it all down, your desires and your wants, no matter how impossible they are to achieve in the moment. Now that's a key point. Now if I was writing it down now, I would say, right, okay, I want to be interviewing Paul McCartney, I want to have Harrison Ford, I want to have the real A-listers on there. Now how do I get that? Well, the only way I can get that is get my show to a point where people are turning their eyes and ears in my direction. By getting a global audience, these people will go, okay, there's a reason to come onto my show, and that's why they will do it. They're very rarely going to come onto a show if they're only getting 2 listeners, because it's not good value for their time. So I would write down my wants and my desires, no matter how impossible they are to achieve, and then start breaking that down and think to myself, how can this be done? How can I get to the top of Everest? How can I do this? How can I do that? And it's very easy to get maybe 5 or 6 steps that are a plan. Plans are easy when you jot them down. Just having airy-fairy thoughts in your head doesn't come to anything. So you've really got to do that. Now, determine your motivation, as we were talking about earlier. Now, motivation, as we know, comes from a deep reason why we want to achieve or have something. And if you know why you're doing it and what you're doing, then it gives you more energy to keep going. You know, as I say, mine was freedom. Totally freedom. Everything about my life is being in control. You can't connect with me unless I allow you. You can't email me and get a response instantly. I'm rarely in front of my computer. I don't have a mobile. I don't have a phone. I don't have a watch. I don't have anything. I am a free spirit. That is my motivation. And once I realise that, then things become quite easy. Now, if you're motivated by the thoughts of influencing and teaching millions of readers through your words, then you've got to write a book. Yeah? If you are interested in inspiring youngsters to take up sport, you've got to go to school. You've got to get with your audience. And you've really got to think about where your motivations will really hit home first. And it's down to the congregation. Find the people congregated who want what you can provide and go to them. They're not going to come to you. They're not going to come to you. You know, for example, I am absolutely focused on developing strategies for iTunes. Where do people go to for podcasts? They go to iTunes. So if I can find ways that more people find my show on iTunes, then it's an easy time. I'm literally putting my service in front of the people where they're looking for it. So think about that. Now, once you've done that, outline your definitive action step. You've identified your wants or desires and you really know what you want to achieve. And by determining your motivation, it shows the reasons why you want to achieve what you want. Yeah. So you've sort of drilled down. And when you know how to get what you want, it makes it easier to achieve it. So to know how, just start breaking it down. As we said, break it down. Keep a positive mental attitude. Really keep focused on it. Every morning, look at it and tick one off. Yes, I've done that. Next day, yes, I've ticked one off. And even if you get to one and you think, I don't know how to do this, then take that idea and break it down into smaller gaps. Yeah, this is how persistence occurs. You're giving yourself a structure to follow. We all like following stuff. We all like joining up the dots. And if you can join up the dots, you will get there. Now, I think one of the major ones that I think people sort of fail to really grasp is building a mastermind group, having people around you that when things get tough, you can just say, hey guys, you know, what do you think? And you will get feedback. More often than not, you get the kind of wrong kind of feedback. You get their opinions. But through that, you sort of sift through and you get the gold. I've got one or two people that I sort of communicate on a daily basis. And actually, the guy who told me to do a show on persistence, we've been having issues on Skype. And at the moment, I'm in the Caribbean. Now, I'm actually in my recording studio at the moment, but I will be at the Caribbean as you're listening to this. And so I needed a certain amount of guests lined up to record shows with, and Skype has gone down. So I've said to people, you know, what should I talk about? And Neil Hughes, the tech writer, blogging person, dogging, blogging, and all the things he likes to do, he said to me, persistence. Persistence is so important in today's world. Everybody wants it fast. So he said to me, talk about persistence and, you know, a structure that people can follow. So that's what I've done. So I've got that kind of mastermind group around me, the people that can actually help me on. And you don't actually have to sit and touch them. You don't actually have to go for a drink with them. They can just be people that you really trust and you really rely on to actually connect with when you're feeling down, when you're feeling dark, when you're feeling weary. And I think that's the hardest one, when you just think, oh, I'll just sit and watch Netflix today, I feel really tired. But you get up and you say to them, look, I just feel really tired. And they normally will lay you on a bed and spank your body and say, get on with it in the nicest way. And that's not a bad way to pass an hour, I have to say. And then the very last thing is developing discipline and habit. You've really got to make sure that you are doing this every single day. You've got to not allow a day to slip past. On the first year of Join Up Darts, I recorded every single day, an hour episode every single day, 365 episodes I've released. As a new podcaster doing an hour free-flowing show, that was a killer. But I still did it every single day, whilst I was still working other jobs to sort of cover the shortfall from when I made my leap of faith. So I had to do that as well. Really difficult, but I kept on doing it. By the second year, things got easier. By the third year, so much more easier. But I've still got those habits. Every morning I will wake up early and I will think, right, let's go and record. Let's get up there. Let's do that. And I normally will bash it out and then, you know, have the rest of the day off. But I've still got that habit of getting up there, doing the work, seeing what needs to be done, bang, and then living my life of freedom. So for every single one of you out there, if there's something that you want to do, you've got to start working towards it, first of all, and you've got to create a plan. You've really got to create a plan. You've got to then surround yourself with a few people that can really help you, but you've got to know what your motivation is, because without the motivation to achieve it, persistence goes out the window. And as I say, no great achievement is possible without persistent work. You tell me one person out there that has created something that we all recognise without persistent work. All the times that they're up there, they're doing the do before anybody even knows it. If you look at, say, the Harrison Fords, They did loads of rubbish shows and things before they got recognised. Tom Hanks, he did the same. Paul McCartney, he played loads of rubbish bars and stuff. Everybody's got to go through that crappy stage at the beginning. But unless you've defined your motivation, why you want to do it, then you're not going to build that persistence into your life to create something remarkable. Go out and do it. Go out and knock them dead and let us know. We get a lot of feedback in little bursts, but then I love getting the feedback and I always respond to all the emails. Drop us a line, send us a vocaroo, that's a voice message, which is really easy to do. We are building a brand new website for Join Up Dots. It's going to make it so much easier for you guys to drop feedback, and we'll put you straight into the show so you can hear your voice. But let us know how you're getting on. Let us know what you're starting. Let us know what you want to build in your life, and we will be there to support you. And until the next time of Join Up Dots, and it might be me again next time, just me, or it might be a guest. I don't know. The old Skype issues are causing a problem. Who knows? Who knows? But whatever it is, I will be back as expected with another episode of Join Up Dots. Thank you so much. Cheers. See ya. Bye-bye.
David doesn't want you to become a faded version of the brilliant self you were once to become. So he's put together an amazing guide for you called the 8 Pieces of Advice That Every Successful Entrepreneur Practices, including the 2 that changed his life. Head over to joinupdots.com to download this amazing guide for free, and we'll see you tomorrow on Join Up Dots.